that was nice to see. And Lepore, thinking about this Vegas team, they got off to a slow start this season, kind of like Colorado as well. And you're thinking, what's going on with these two teams? They're supposed to be the two best teams in the West. And now you look at the standings. Colorado and Vegas are basically the two best teams in the West. And this Vegas team is going to get Jack Eichel soon. And he should be ready come playoff time. Is Vegas the best team in the Western Conference with Jack Eichel?
The best team in the Western Conference. That's a good one, Bruno. I know what everyone's thinking already. Their brains immediately going to the Colorado Avalanche. But a 7-game series, the Vegas Knights with Jack Eichel, it's close. I mean, I probably would still pick Colorado, but think how good this Vegas Knights team is and how balanced they are. And they play a beautiful style of hockey, always dominate their opponent. And you just add a $10 million true number one center who's about a point a game for his career. That's crazy. Like, that's a total difference maker. We had a discussion last year on the show, but I can't, having fun. Like, how many teams could you add McDavid to? And like, how many of those teams would immediately become contenders? Vegas is a really good team, and Eichel's not McDavid, but just inserting Jack Eichel, I think makes a huge difference. And I wouldn't put it past them. Hell, I'll say it. I don't think anyone would be that surprised if Vegas won the Stanley Cup. I really feel that way. And it's kind of funny how early on, I don't know how you felt, Bruno, kind of like on the topic of the Vegas Knights, that first year of the Knights when they made the Stanley Cup final and they lost to the Capitals. I was rooting for the Capitals so hard. So I was begging the entire playoffs for Vegas to lose. I don't think
anyone wanted Vegas to win.
I just think it would have been so embarrassing for the league. I mean, maybe embarrassing is the wrong word, but just so lame. Like, can you imagine a team having their first season in the NFL and winning the Super Bowl?
It's insane. It would have been a huge slap in the face. You know what? It already was a huge slap in the face to all the GMs and front offices around the league for allowing Vegas to assemble the team that they did. But if they had actually finished the job and won the Stanley Cup, people would have been rattled beyond belief across the National Hockey League and fans as well. Right. I think it's like, I think everyone was rooting against Vegas.
Yeah.
Back in their first season.
You know, what's funny about it is that, and it's like the whole like Vegas topic, what I find so interesting, and I'd love to talk to the GMs about this, the coaches about this, when that format for the expansion draft was made, like we look back at it now, or we look at it now, what happened to Seattle, and we see opportunity because you're getting a decent player from every team. So we look at it and we're like, yeah, you can put together a nice roster. But I don't remember anyone saying that when it was first announced as the format when Vegas came into the league. I don't remember anyone saying, no, this Vegas team can be really good if things go their way. Everyone's just, oh, it's an expansion draft. They'll be a bad team. And then what's even more interesting to me is that once that team was put together, no one raised their hand and said, guys, this is a decent team. Like, Vegas did a good job putting together a roster. And then even when they started winning games, remember, it was kind of awkward. Like, no one really believed in them.
Yeah, they're like a 50-win team, and everyone's like, they're still not that good.
Yeah,
and
but
then they win the first round and the second round, and then they get to the Cup final, and you're thinking, holy shit!
Oh my,
they might actually do it.
Yeah, even throughout this, you have like 10 games in, 20 games in, you're kind of waiting for a collapse. It's like, again, it's an expansion team. You're just waiting for that reality to sink in, and it never did. And like, to me, it's so amazing that nobody noticed. So like, does it just show that hockey is just the weirdest sport in the world? Or I say we, like collectively, the fans, the media, the management, the coaching staffs, they don't know what they're doing.
Like, I think it's more of the former, just that hockey's just the wackiest sport. I mean, at the end of the day, when you think about this sport, you're chasing a rubber puck that's bouncing around the ice, and you have 10 guys skating around. Pucks are bouncing off guys' legs, off guys' asses, off the boards, off the glass. Like, there's so many just random things that could happen during a hockey game. But saying all that, it also does show that I think there's a lot of front offices around the league that, quite frankly, Lepore, just aren't very smart. I mean, we could go down the list and talk about all the bad front offices and all the bad decisions that, certain GMs have made over the last little while. But you can count on maybe one hand 5 front offices / general managers who are genuinely very talented at what they do and rarely make mistakes and manage the salary cap well. And I think collectively as a league, everyone just sort of botched that Vegas expansion draft, and it set the table for what they are today. But to be fair to Vegas, Lepore, they signed Pietrangelo, they signed Mark Stone, right? So they brought in other guys.
They traded for Eichel now.
Traded for Jack Eichel. So they've made good decisions post expansion draft, obviously. But yeah, I think it's kind of a mix of both. But going quickly back to the Jack Eichel thing, I said at the beginning of the season, and some people thought I was crazy. I don't know if I said it specifically on this show, but I did make a video about this on social media. I called the Vegas Golden Knights the most overrated team in the NHL.
Really? I don't remember that.
Because as good as they are, this team still didn't have a number one centerman. And you saw it in the playoffs against Montreal. I could not believe that team couldn't score. Everyone made fun of the Leafs for not being able to score when it mattered. The Leafs outscored Montreal. I believe it was 18-14 over that 7-game series. Vegas, Lepore, was a train wreck. Mark Stone did not score a goal. I don't even think Mark Stone had a point.
Yeah, he didn't have a good playoffs
in that series against Montreal. I remember there was a stat going around that they collectively, I think, got like 4 goals from their forwards. It was either 4, 5, or 6 goals from their forwards in that series against Montreal. Because if you remember, Pietrangelo had a big series. A couple other of their other D-men played well. Alec Martinez. But anyway, that's a team that was just desperately lacking a number one centerman. And getting Jack Eichel, I think, unlocks a lot for this hockey team. I don't want to go and say that they're better than Colorado, because I agree with you. I still think Colorado's the best team in the West. But man, I am very excited to see how this team looks with Jack Eichel, because I'm a huge Jack Eichel guy. When this guy's healthy and he's at his best, I believe he's a top 10 player in the world.
Yeah, me too.
So this is going to be a very, very scary team. And it's all going to depend on how quickly Jack Eichel can get back to full health, right?
Yeah.
It might take him a couple months.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think he's just going to step on the ice night one and he's going to look like Jack Eichel from like 3 years ago.
Yeah. And they don't care to rush him either. Like how that division's going, they don't care. Yeah. He'll just come in whenever he's ready, or more than ready for that matter. It's just too with Eichel. I don't know how you feel about this. When big players get traded, sometimes it feels kind of weird, even just like seeing them in that jersey on a new roster. I just see Eichel fitting in perfectly. That I have this feeling that the first game I watch with the Knights with Jack Eichel is just going to feel natural. And I don't know if it's a personality thing, if it's a style thing, but I think it's a great fit. I really do. And I'll say this, with the current Vegas lineup, would you be, I mean, shocked is a strong word, but if this group collectively within the next few years didn't win a cup, or at least make another final?
I think for sure with this group that they have right now, they should be able to get back to a conference final.
Yeah, no question.
But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, man, because we've seen some good teams in recent memory. I mean, obviously the Leafs, they can't get over the hump to save their lives, but there's been some good teams, even going back just in, looking at the salary cap era, that have been really good, but can't get past the first round, can't get past the second round, right? Because you're facing really good teams, especially under this format. Like, think about the Atlantic Division this year. In the first round, it's going to be either Leafs Lightning, Leafs Panthers, Panthers Lightning. Like, that's a nightmare matchup. Whoever finishes 2-3 in the Atlantic is screwed.
The Bruins have won like 8 of 9 now too. Like, they're firing up the standings.
And now the Bruins are on fire. So when you think about it from that perspective, no, I wouldn't be surprised if this Vegas team, as good as they are, if they get clipped in the first round, if they get clipped in the second round. It's tough, man.
You think Edmonton's going to beat them, right?
Oh God. don't, don't even get me started.
I couldn't help
Edmonton.
myself, everyone.
We
I
got to
couldn't help
save that for a
myself.
little bit later in the show. That team is in a free fall right now. Oh
Edmonton.
my God. I can't
Poor
wait to
Edmonton.
talk about that later in the show.